Kalimera, Kalispera, wherever time you are watching, this is Mappa. I am Stel, I've got Thasso here, and the gentleman below us, right down here, well, I'll let him introduce himself. Costa, welcome to the show. How are you doing, Phile?
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Phile. And tell us about your role at newly promoted AES, please.
Yeah, I'm the football director of the team. I'm 2 years in the team, like the latest management of the club, the new presidents, the new ownership, and we are together the last 2 years.
Lovely, lovely. So when you joined AES, what was the key ambition for the club?
The key ambitions of the club was, believe it or not, to play in first division. And that was the challenging part, because when we took over, when the new management took over and I joined them, there was nothing. There was no pitch. There was no players. There was nothing. Team was about to close. These two persons, these two investors, took over, and yes.
When you think about the club AES, because obviously they've been promoted now after a fantastic season in the second division, can you tell our viewers a little bit about the club's history? Because obviously we know about, your Omonias, your Upper Wales, but AES obviously much smaller in comparison.
Yes, AES is one of the most historic clubs in Cyprus. 70 years old club, something like that. It was the same president for 60 years. And this president stepped down 2 years ago because he was so tired with his son. His son was with him. Of course, after 1 month, 1 year, the old president passed away. Yes, it's one of the most historic club. The club played again first division 6-7 years ago, and now it's the second time that we're gonna play for first division.
So can you tell us about the competitiveness of the second division in Cyprus? Because we've obviously seen Ethniko get relegated and then go back up, but when you see a team like, I don't know, who else? Who went down a couple of years ago? Thasso.
It was Ethniko, it was Baik,
yep.
and
Baik, yeah.
And this is very bad from me. This is very it was Ethniko. It was just Ethniko and Baik. Only two went down last year.
Yeah, but Hermes also went down as well a couple of years ago, and they're still stuck in the second division.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ayanaba were in the top league as well a few seasons ago.
The second division level now has been increased too much because for some reasons, for many reasons, most of the players in first division are foreigners. So the good Cypriot players are now playing in second division. Budgets are highly increased in second division, so it's a very competitive league. And if we see that this season, last season, Ethnikos Akhnas played for the final, for the cup final, and this year was very struggling for them to go up in first division. You can see how competitive it was.
Precisely. I think that's the point I was actually trying to make, to be honest. It's like when you get relegated from the first division to the second, it's not often that the team goes straight back into the first. It's not as if, like, for example, in the Premier League, when a team gets relegated, they're given a whole boatload of money as parachute payments, and they can afford to increase their budget and bring in big players. In Cyprus, you see 10, 15, 20 players leaving the club when they get relegated, and they have to start from scratch. So to see Ethniko get relegated, lose a lot of players, but go back up.
But the era of the club comes with the club in second division, so it's much more easy to return back to first division with the name, with the club's era. That it is the most important. So yeah, most of the times clubs that are relegated from first division to second, normally they return back. Normally, if they are healthy financially.
So with Ayaz's situation, you mentioned that the president left, and you came in round about the time when he left. What were the first things that you implemented inside the club? Was it recruitment, bringing in a manager, or was it just everything in general?
No. The first things it was to build, let's say, the brand name. Of course, there is no brand name in third division because it's a small division, but it was to organize the club. I mean, to manage to bring players in the way how was the club was very difficult. But we changed training camp. We changed the stadium where we play the official games. We changed brand clothing brand. We changed everything so to be attractive to the players. Of course, most important thing, it was the financial healthy. That was the key issue.
And I'm guessing that it's an even bigger challenge when you're down in the lower divisions in Cyprus, because while you probably have a core group of supporters coming, you're not going to have 5, 10, 15,000 like perhaps other clubs would in the higher leagues. So you're going to rely a lot on your branding and your social media, which I think is brilliant what you guys are doing. Social media seems to be very key with many clubs in Cyprus. And your Instagram account is very active, so I'm guessing that's helped.
It was one of the first things that we wanted to create because there was nothing. It was maybe we were the first team, or maybe one of the first teams in third division that we had a PR manager and social media manager. We were the first team last season in second division that we were having electronic tickets, and I mean we want to make steps to the future. We want to be modern club. Of course, we are a small club, but this is something that we are trying in our budget and our financials.
So if you're to stay in the first division and to compete for, say, top 6, where would you think the club needs to improve most? In which areas?
Still we need to enlarge the club, the brand name of the club. This is what we want to do, to attract good players, to attract sponsors. In order to attract sponsors, we need to be big, not for the fans, but as a brand name. We need to sell. We need to attract sponsors through this, and this is the only way we can grow up. I mean, through brand name, to attract sponsors, to sell players. Only this is a way we can compete the rest of the teams.
And in terms of growing the brand, I'm assuming you guys have obviously done your research in terms of where the fans are located, or maybe are there any fans outside of Cyprus? Do you know?
Actually, now our social media are being followed by many people outside Cyprus, and this is what we want to do. We cannot buy supporters. We cannot find supporters, so we need to create supporters.
So grow them organically. Yeah, understand. Tasso, have you got any questions, Phile?
Well, it was. I've made a point of kind of throughout the season looking at the things that our friend Mr. Vrionidis has been talking about the Cyprus FA over time. So there's a couple of things that obviously Ayaz were brought up in. So obviously there's a few situations that have occurred. My question kind of based off of that is, does that affect kind of the recruitment for players, for instance? Like for now, where you're searching for players, are players kind of bringing up these issues that were in the past with hires, or is that something that you've not seen any trouble with?
No, it's a new management. The club is healthy, the club is stable. The difficulty to recruit players now is the budget. It's the only difficulty that we are facing. I mean, we might be the 1/10. I mean, 10% of the rest of the team. Okay, not all of them, but the 8 of the 14 club, we might have the 1/10 of their budget. So yes, this is the only difficulty. But our key is that we are healthy, stable. For the last 2 years that this is the new management, we don't owe anything. Everyone is up to date, paid, everything and everyone, and this is what we want to keep doing.
Yeah, I think this is very important because obviously there's some big clubs in Cyprus as well that are that are in the background saying they're struggling to do that. So it's good to see that some clubs are managing. Easily,
instead of saying an X amount to a player, to say 3 times X, and to owe in May 23. We owe to the players 2 times X, but this is not right and this is not correct for the player. This will impact during season by performing, by arguing, by everything. So yeah, the management wants everything to be paid up to date, and every end of the month the players are getting paid. Not only players, but the staff also. Yeah, no, that's good. So obviously with the player recruitment, I'm guessing at the moment you're a very busy man. Everybody's like contracts, everybody's releasing players. So I'm guessing you're talking to a lot of players. Are you looking to are you looking for more experienced players? Are you looking for something like what Agridas did, for instance, this season, where they brought in youth prospects, looking to get kind of players that had that have like sell-on value, for instance, or are you looking for somebody more experienced to kind of guide the team through? The recruitment is it's coach's responsibility, and but there is a line. I mean, what we are looking and what the management told us, we want to have as lowest average years, not to be under 19 or under 20, but we need to have motivated players. And yeah, it's a little bit difficult to find old players to be motivated to play for a small team, especially if they are coming from big teams, having better facilities, better organization, which it's not a lie. It's much more difficult to be motivated. So we need young, motivated players to see IS as a step, maybe, and to give 100%. Okay, and I'm guessing then, obviously you need to do a lot of research to find these players then. And need research, need patience, because now it's too early. Everyone is asking too much because it's the beginning of the window, of the transfer window. So we need to be patient and to recruit whatever we need.
Costa, when it comes to the recruitment side of things, obviously, I don't expect your budget to be as big as most of the big clubs in Cyprus. So you need to be obviously more careful as to which agents you work with or which players you select. You have to look at the player's history, whether it be injuries or whether it be their statistics. When you have so many agents and so many people involved in the game, especially in Cyprus, how difficult is it to make that right decision that's best for the club?
It's really, really, really difficult. It's really, really difficult. There are, especially for us or for small teams, but this is scale. For the biggest team, it's the same. If we say for us the biggest amount is X, for a big team is 10 times that amount, but we cannot take we cannot take any risks. It's not allowed to us to have players that will have injuries. We need all the players to be 100% and to perform what we expect from them to perform. It's very difficult to have players that will not perform what we expect. We will not have the big squad, and we need what we want to get from the player to get it 100%.
The reason why I asked that question, Costa, is because, as you quite rightly said, you can't take any risks with a player. And there's one club in Cyprus that signed a player last summer who had a history of injuries, and he's hardly played this season. And it seems that they're happy just to have him there, paying his wages. You guys clearly can't afford to do that, which is why it's important to study the player and look at their injury record.
But as I told you, it's not about us. It should be for every team, because
Of course,
for us that amount that we spend, it's important. For other clubs, it's higher amount, and this is important for them, the higher amount. I mean, and this is what agents and players need to understand, that players has to perform. The clubs pay them to play football and to be in the pitch. Of course, there are injuries. Of course, we cannot doubt that. But yes, this is something that we have to check about the history, about everything.
I noticed you sold Gravnos, the goalkeeper, to ANORTHOSIS. Was it last summer, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, last summer.
Was he a product of your academy?
No.
He wasn't. So, but you signed him and you coached him up.
Gravnos came as free player from AEL, and after 15 days, 20 days, we sold him to ANORTHOSIS.
So you've obviously done something right there to make that money, to make the transfer. So does this mean that you're more than happy to improve the academy facilities and the settings to bring in younger players, develop them, and then sell them on to help the club?
This is the next step for us, because as I told you before, there was nothing 2 years ago. We did too many things during these 2 years, and there are no academies. There weren't academies, and there are no academies still. And this is our next step, to build our own academies. Yes, because it's something that will probably bring income to the team. And not only that, academies are necessary for the teams, for fans base, for marketing, for everything.
So with Ayers being based in Limassol, if I'm not mistaken, you have the three big Limassol clubs, Aris, AEL, Apollon, and also Karmiotis, Polomythia. Does it give you guys more motivation to succeed, given that you have other teams in the same region, or does it make things more difficult?
Okay, I don't think that is something that plays a role, because it's 14 teams. We need to compete. The rest 13 teams. So for us, either from Limassol or from Nicosia or from Larnaca, it's the same, because most probably we will play for in Amorphostos, Nea Salaminas Stadium. So we might be from Limassol, but we will not be playing in Limassol.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, actually. But is the stadium? So why was the decision taken to go to Salaminas instead of, say, a stadium like the Tyrion?
4 times more expensive.
Well, that's fair enough. Fair enough. That's actually quite shocking. Tyrion, for the age of the stadium, for it to be that expensive, is
3.5 more expensive.
Wow.
Times, not
That's yeah,
times.
yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's completely understandable then, because that was going to be one of the big questions for me was the decision behind that. So
yeah, for us, for us, it's also difficult. Imagine
because it'll wipe out your player budget if you do that.
It's instead of going 20 times abroad away, we will go 40 times away.
Yeah. So, would you be so? For instance, when Aris were moved away from the Tyrion and they went to the Andonis Papadopoulos, they put coaches on for some of the home games in inverted commas to take fans there. Is that something that you're looking at to do?
It will be very difficult for us. It will be very.
Yeah. I'm guessing. Sorry.
This is what we are very sad to do, because we wanted the Limassol fans to be there for us. Of course, we don't expect 1,000, but we were expected to have 200, or maybe 1,000 to follow us for the home games. But it's impossible with the current financial. It's impossible.
It's I think it's very disappointing on Goa's part to not provide a financial package which would be suitable for a club of your stature, because Zakakiou are a club in Limassol. It's not like there's anything missing in Limassol for Zakakiou to be able to play. It's just that they want too much.
It's sad. This is sad. This is very.
It
is very sad. But it's nothing. It's really out of discussion. It's out of discussion. I mean, with the current terms, it's out of discussion.
Yeah, of course. I was going to ask another kind of playing staff question. So Curtis YEBLI, he performed very well for the club last season, to the point where he's been nominated. He was put in the top 11 for the second division. However, he was on loan from Garmiodissa.
No, it was free player to us.
Oh, it was a free. Okay. Because I've seen, the details I've seen say he was on loan.
Yeah.
So he is currently an IS player, so he will continue.
We have automatically renewal in case of promotion, but we have some discussion with YEBLI. With the next 2 days, we will know for sure if he will continue or not.
I think that's a very solid shout to keep him on. He seems to be a good player.
Yeah, but every player is making their decision. Sometimes being an ex-football player for many years, some players have bad advisors, and they're making their bad decisions.
Of course.
I agree with that, right?
I can tell you stories. I can tell you stories. As I'm trying to avoid these stories, Philip. I'm trying to paint Cyprus in a positive light. But yeah, no, I think it's a great story with how far you guys have come in the last 2 years to be back in the top division. And we saw this season how close it was with the relegation battle. Paralimni and Doxa fighting for that last spot. Agrida really struggled, even though they looked like they were going to turn things around at some point. Olympiacos when they changed coaches. But you got a coach that knows all about getting teams promoted into the top division. And his last team won the title. So tell us about LOUKA.
Yes, LIASOS LOUKA. Okay, we started the league last season. The season that is finished with Michalis Sergiou, who also made an incredible job building the team. Of course, we work all together, but most of the players were his decision, and he did an excellent job in building this team. But okay, for some reasons, board and the committee and the presidents decided in the third game to change the coach for some bad results. And yeah, we were lucky that LIASOS was free. Okay, LIASOS has his history, of course, as a player, but also as a coach. And yes, we did what he did what we expected from him to do to promote the club.
And what can you tell us about his coaching style? Because the guys at Aris love him to pieces, so I'm guessing it's the same love for him.
Yes, he's very, very strict, very hard to working coach. He demands no less than 100% from the players. Really not no less than 100%. He's not happy with the 99%. And this is what I can assure you and what I can see with his trainings. And yes, he's trying through the trainings to prepare the team to go in the teams. And this is his key is discipline. He wants disciplined players.
Tasso, have you got any more questions, Philo?
I mean, the last question was obviously kind of the drama near the end of the season. There was the match with Omonia 29. How does a team deal with kind of like the atmosphere? Obviously, at the game was very antagonistic atmosphere. Obviously, with the stadium full of the Omonia fans, there was obviously a lot of the stuff before the game as well. There was a lot of talk between from Omonia, the EDC, and as well from IS, and as well the police and everybody being involved. So how does one manage the situation like that when you're coming into that situation, especially with the high risk reward that's involved in that game?
We knew from the beginning, 2, 3, 4 weeks before the game, that things were going there. I mean, to play the final with Omonia in their home stadium. But for us, because we had to clear the promotion much more easy and much more quickly. But we had to go there and play the final. It was good for us that there were 15 days available for us to work, because there was I don't remember, national team. I don't remember. So yes,
it was Easter.
Yeah, it was Easter. Okay, yes, it was Easter. Yeah, right. We had 15 days to work with the players, with the coaching, with the staff, and everything. And I said it again, and I'm saying now that only this squad, these players, it's 15, 16, 17 players with the current coach could get the result in that game. No other team. And this is, I'm saying, with 30 years experience in football. I mean, if there weren't not that 15 players, but other 15 players, or it wasn't LIASOS the coach, we would have taken that result.
Oh, of course, because obviously the 0-0 basically like almost finalized promotion, basically, didn't it? But yeah, it was a very tense game. I think you watched it, didn't you, Stel?
I wasn't. Oh, okay. I was in the bench. It was a game that was.
Yeah, I had an eye on it. I had one eye on it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, you are is telling you these things from a person that I played in Turkey against Trabzonspor with ANORTHOSIS, so I'm telling you that it was really difficult.
Yeah.
Here, the tens, it was really difficult for the players.
Yeah, but I mean, it was they had the police had their water cannon there
Yes,
just in case.
it was a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Costa, you mentioned that match for ANORTHOSIS, going to Turkey, given the political hostilities. What was that like?
Yeah, it was okay. After us, I think Apoel and maybe only Apoel. I don't remember. We were the first. ANORTHOSIS. We were the first that we went to Turkey to play, and it was hard. It was difficult. We changed aeroplanes to go from Syria. We had too much security in the airport. We went to the hotel. There were 5,000-6,000 people outside from the hotel. It was difficult. But okay, if you're a player, you don't think too much out of football. This is football. This is football player mind. You only think about the game, and the rest it's not players' issues. It's committee and presidents and board.
The other question I have is actually related to ANORTHOSIS at the moment, and we know about their financial difficulties. And I don't know if Vesco is going to be back in the youth academy coaching the youngsters. How do you think their youth setup is going to be affected next season?
Yeah, I would see. They have to find the ways.
Yeah, of course.
The way, not them. It's not to find a way just for the next 3, 4, 5 months, but the incomes to be stable. I mean, to have a financial incomes stable, coming every month, every year, to have incomes coming in the team, not for the next 2 or 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? This is another question related to youth development, because I know you've got a lot of experience in the youth development side of things, because I think you were at Aris, weren't you? And you were at Academy, if I'm not mistaken.
I was director of Aris Academy.
Yeah. So and this is something that we were talking about yesterday with Ortelli, the goalkeeper that's at Watford's academy, who is half Cypriot through his mother. When you see the amount of British Cypriots and American Cypriots and Australian Cypriots, is it important for the Cypriot FA to not just look at the Cypriots within Cyprus, but also abroad for talent for future?
I think, I'm not sure, but I think that they are, at least from what I know, they were looking. And from what I know, when Pambos Christodoulou was coach of national team, I think he was going to watch these ages for the players that they were playing abroad. And why not? They are Cypriots. They have Cypriot passports, of course. Why not? But I don't know the expenses now, of course. But the federation has to invest, right?
No, of course. I mean, the reason why I ask is because we had Mike Pieri on the podcast a few months ago, and Mike used to be the chairman of Omonia Youth. They're not linked with Omonia in Cyprus. They're just called Omonia Youth. And they won the Grassroots Team of the Year by the FA. So they won the award. But he tells me that no one in Cyprus has contacted him to look at the young players, and they've got academy right the way from under 9s all the way to under 18s. So it's a strange one for me.
As my opinion, and I said it many times, that federation needs staff, need more staff. I mean, need scouts, need analysts, need players, persons to travel. They need to open their minds and their ears more. Not They need more staff. This is my opinion. They need to work as a team. Like we are a federation is a team. It's national team. It's a team. We as a team, we are a small team. We now are trying to build our scouting networks. We need to have one scout in every country to work for us. We need to have scouting platforms, every platform that there is available in the market. We need to have eyes everywhere. So I think also federation, which is it's a team, needs to do that. And this is I don't know how they work, but this is my opinion.
No, I agree. And, you know, there's a lot of clubs throughout Europe that have practically destroyed their scouting network because they would rather rely on statistics and look at, say, Y Scouts and other forms of technology. And I agree that the GOP certainly need more members of staff. But I think the way that technology has evolved, we have the ability to say, okay, there's a young player that's 18 years old. He's British Cypriot. We can send you some videos of him. And of course, clips can make any player look like Messi. But if you like the look of him, then we can send him to Cyprus, give him a trial. And if you like him, then we can take it from there. But it confuses me because we have many Cypriots, not just in the UK, but around America and in Australia, who are very good. We've seen Sotiriou at Leyton Orient, Ciprianou. We've seen various players. In fact, we've got 2 players in Watford's academy. And I don't know if there is a lot of emphasis on looking at them. But at the same time, I do know that the under-21s and the under-19s, the Cypriot national team, have got players that are abroad. So I guess it's something that we're not aware of, but GOP are, I'm guessing.
Yes, this is what I told you. I think they need to open their eyes and ears more. But it's about personnel. This is what I believe. And
they need more eyes and ears.
Of course.
Excellent. Well, Gosamo, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope we can talk again, and good luck for you guys next season, because it's going to be a challenging season, but I'm sure you guys will really enjoy the challenge as well.
Follow us and advertise us.
Of course, anything.
The Twitter account.
We're going to put the Twitter account. We're going to put the Instagram. It's all going to be in the link below. So everyone that's watching on the recording, you just look in the description. We're going to have the links and everything. It's all going to be there. So yeah, it's been a pleasure having Costa on. We're on Twitter and Instagram at This Is Mappa. Thank you to Project 357, our sponsor. So if you guys are interested in getting your car wrapped and make it look all pretty, Project 357 are you guys. So that's it for another edition of This Is Mappa. That's all. Say goodbye.
Goodbye and thank you for the interview.